had traveled to Atlanta and are checking
Wow.
stops along the bus route between New York and Atlanta.
They got him now. Cynthia G, how you doing?
Hey, I'm just actually I was trying to rest my voice because it was getting raspy because I was live earlier.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just editing some content, but they found him fairly quickly. I didn't think that they were going to find him. I was trying to see if Sloan Bella was going to do like a reading on him or something.
Me too, and I still think she will because you know Sloan be on it. What do you think about people saying free him, but we know it's because he's attractive? So what do you think about that?
And then I don't think it's just because he's attractive, because I think a lot of people can, like, I personally think that he has an issue with the system. And I think this is just a man who represented one of the problems with the system. Essentially, one of the biggest issue is that preying on people. And we know that's the insurance industry in general. It's not just health insurance. The same thing gets said about life insurance and
auto insurance, all that.
Yep, auto insurance. Yep, everything. So
in America, the shit is basically a scam. Okay, you pay into life insurance, then if something happens, then they do their best to not pay the claims. You pay auto insurance, but if you never get in an accident, you don't get your fucking money back, number one. And then number two, you still have to do deductibles. Like, it just, this shit is a scam.
Well, and they said that they recovered monopoly money from the backpack. And I think that's what the monopoly money was, to basically say you're harming people for something that's not even real, because we already know money only has value because we give it value. If we didn't value money, money would essentially be the exact same as monopoly money. So I think he's saying at the end of the day, at the core of it, you're harming people over a piece of paper. I used to have United Health as an insurance. I used to have them. So I understand people not caring, because a lot of people probably had an issue who had ever had United Health. I'm pretty sure they've all had an issue. They probably all had an issue with this company. It's not like, it's to the point to where when I had United Health and presented it to like a doctor's office, they themselves were like, oh, this is trash insurance.
Wow. So basically,
yeah, they were like, this is trash. You should combine it with another one.
Wow. So, and I didn't even know this. Marsha said United Healthcare denies claims at 32%.
Yeah, they did it to me. Like, I had one of their plans that included dental. And I ended up having to owe the dentist because they weren't covering stuff that they were supposed to cover. So I had to pay out of pocket for it. I had to pay $700, actually, to be exact.
So then what was the point of you even having the insurance in the first place?
I mean,
it's almost like I should just put away money on my own, and then if something happens, I just have the money to pay, out of pocket. Or unless healthcare is really no good, unless you just have a catastrophic accident or something. I don't fucking know.
It's not, because at the end of the day, it's just like you said with auto insurance. If you don't get into accidents, you don't get your money back. Well, why are you having to pay a premium and a deductible?
Thank you.
Like, why doesn't my premium cover part of the deductible? Why am I paying twice? So, because then if you look at the fact that you're paying a monthly premium, like right now, my monthly premium is very high. My monthly premium is high. I think it's way higher than it should be. But then if I go get anything outside of preventative, then I have to pay a deductible. Now, my deductible is $1,500, so it's very easy to pay. But why am I having to pay nearly $1,000 a month for a premium? Damn. And then I have to pay a high deductible?
Damn.
That's what I'm saying. It's insane. But I have like dental and vision too, because I have bad eyesight. So that may be why. And I also have high blood pressure. So I'm pretty sure that factors into it. But it's just super expensive.
I'm not even gonna hold you. I literally don't have health insurance. I still go to the doctor. Thank God, knock on wood, I'm good. And then even with dental care, I just started paying out of pocket and get my cleanings twice a year or whatever, because it was just like I'm paying for I don't know. It didn't make sense.
It is a lot, and most of the time I don't use my health insurance anyway, because it's not like I'm out here sick and struggling and plagued with illnesses. I'm not.
Thank God.
High blood pressure, bad vision, and asthma is probably about the worst that I got going on. So it's not like I actually need to be in the doctors, but it is. I think people are getting tired, and I think we're going to see more. Like, I've been saying, I don't think that this dude is going to be the first and only. Like, I don't think that he's going to be the first and only. Americans have an issue with the system. That's
Yes.
what they have an issue with. They have an issue with the system. And they're going to start having more of an issue with the system come 2025. So we're probably going to see more of this. But I do think his attractiveness does play heavily into it. I think it's the fact that people think he's attractive and the fact that they can relate to him. Even if they didn't engage in the act themselves, I think people understand why he did it. And therefore, they have no sympathy for the CEO, because the CEO is simply looked at as another huge entity that's getting over on Americans. They don't even see him as human, likely. They probably just see him as an entity and an agent of the system getting over on Americans.
I agree. And I will say this too. If you notice, after that CEO got shot, you see how all the other CEOs of the other healthcare companies started, okay, we're not going to deny claims. We're going to change this. We're going to make. So I said, wow. So it takes bloodshed for change to be made. So
yeah, it does. Somebody has to die for change to be made, and change will not be made if somebody is not dying in order and in order for that change to be made. And that's one of the reasons why there's no change in the Black community.
I was just about to say, when a Black man gonna understand that all this talking, begging, and attacking Black women to make change? No. Why are there not the Black alpha males taking the same course and sacrificing themselves to get us the change we need?
Listen, I think we know Black men die on a daily basis for absolutely no meaningful reason at all, like none. And so for Black men to not be wanting to die for their own liberation when they're literally killing each other anyways, it just it tells you a lot about the mindset of Black men. It's like you're dying anyway. You go to the hood, if there's random shootouts, you're going to die anyway. So why don't you die for a cause instead of for some degeneracy?
But I was scrolling, and I be on social, I have to watch this shit because this is what we do for a living. And it just hit me like a couple months ago. I'm like, I'm just so tired of these podcasts. I'm so tired of these 50-50 conversations.
I've been wanting to ask you, sorry to cut you off, but I have literally been dying to ask you what you think about the David Cooley situation. Right now that you talk about podcasts.
The David Cooley?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's easy. He represents the majority of Black men, which basically means all of these standards that they say they have, it only applies to Black women. If you're white, if you're Latina, if you're Asian, you can do no wrong. You can do no wrong. That shit's ridiculous. And he's not top tier. I guess physically you can say top tier, I guess, because he's tall. But other than that, but as far as in the world, he's a nobody. He's a nobody.
I just don't think height makes you top tier. Height might makes you be more attractive, but I don't see height making anybody top tier. Like, how are you top tier because you're over 6 feet?
And the men that actually run the world, that actually have the money, they're not tall. If you look at Dan Pena, if you look at Bill Gates, if you look at Warren Buffett, if you look at even a lot of the world leaders, height ain't everything. So I mean, I guess you got to understand though. But for Black men, they equate their currency to their dick. So it's like, this gets me being tall allows me to screw mud sharks. So Damn, I probably shouldn't have said that. Whatever.
The thing is, just by virtue of the type of white woman that he is with, that alone tells you that he's not a top tier man. He can consider himself top tier all he wants to, but it doesn't seem like society perceives him to be top tier, because he got a white woman that was already a 2 times baby mama to a white man who I clearly deemed her undesirable enough to stick around with her. Even after he had kids with her, he still discarded her. She didn't have any value to that man. But a black man came and picked her up with her 2 kids after screaming, "Say no to single mothers," which I already told people years ago. When they say no to single mothers, they mean say no to black single mothers. They don't mean it for white women.
Yes, it's a totally, they have a, when it comes to white women is like the black man's prize. And it's just, now here's the crazy thing. Here's another thing I'm sick of too, right? On one hand, they talk shit about black women who had kids outside of wedlock, even though they mammy was probably the same way. But we ain't gonna go there. But then they say, okay, you had kids out of wedlock, you didn't get a nigga to marry you. But then they stay with these women and they don't marry them either. He been with this girl for 7 years.
He said 10.
Oh, 10, my bad. 10.
Yeah, I thought he said 10.
Why the fuck he ain't married her?
Because again, they can put Becky on a pedestal as much as they want to, and they mostly do in order to use her as a weapon against black women. And I the trust and belief, I don't even think that white women would have as much of an appeal to black men if they thought that black women didn't care about who they were with, whether or not they were with a white woman. But because there's still black women making it known that they care, then they're still using them as a weapon. But no matter how much they prop up Becky Maria or Ling Ling, she's only going to get the same black man. It just, I want y'all to notice how every single woman get the same outcome. This is now about to be a 4-time baby mama, because she'll have 4 kids. She'll have 2 by this bandit here, whose sexuality I actually question.
Would you question his sexuality?
Yes, there's nothing masculine about him. I actually like, and it's not even just his high-pitched voice that's indicative of his low testosterone level. It's just the way he moves, the way he carries himself, his energy. He doesn't possess the energy of, he possesses the energy of a straight man in terms of the misogyny, but in any other way, he does not possess the energy of a masculine, strong man. That anybody who sees masculinity in him is likely either not concerned about masculinity or don't know what masculinity is. This man does not possess it. There's nothing about him that would ever be attractive to me. He's one of the ones that if he was to, which I doubt he would, he seems to like white women, but in the event that he was, it would be highly offensive, highly offensive. If a man like him, or even a man who looked like him, approached me, I would be highly offended. Absolutely not.
Damn. Now, you know, a lot of people will look at him from the outside and disagree with you.
What's attractive about him?
Okay, I mean, all I can really give him is height. His face is not all that. And women got to realize that beard does a lot for him. Let's keep it real. That beard does a lot for him.
Okay. See, the beard actually, I think, does him a disadvantage. That's all. I actually think he should drop the beard, because he just looks weird and rapey with the beard. But I just don't like anything about him. I don't like his energy. His voice is not deep enough. These are the things that will bother me. His voice is not deep enough for me. His energy is not masculine enough for me. He does not come off as a protector. He actually come off as very bitchy. And I suspect that's why he's with a woman of no color.
Dang. Cynthia, let me ask you something. When are they going to invite you to tonight's conversation, or what's the damn? I can't think of the other one. I want to see you on those podcasts.
I don't know if I would go on that podcast. I don't think I would.
I could
I don't
just
think
see.
I would at all. I think at this point the discussions are kind of beneath me.
Mm,
And I've already decided that I'm not collaborating with anyone anymore. Really, I said except you, because you're the only person that I've collaborated with and it didn't turn to drama. So
yeah,
therefore, anybody else, no. Mm-mm.
I don't blame you. I get it. I think as far as how he looks, I mean, to me, he is. You know what's throwing me off too? I don't like that hairstyle. I hate to be like that.
I don't like his hair. I don't like his voice. I don't like his entire face. I don't like anything about him. And I believe he presents more feminine than masculine. If I was to date him, I would feel like I might as well just date an actual woman.
Damn. Ooh wee.
There's just really to me nothing like it's the same with these all of these podcasters, even Fresh and Fit. I noticed that they are severely lacking in masculinity and testosterone, and that's probably why they don't have a lot of masculinity, because they don't have a lot of testosterone. And so to me, again, dating those males with their hypersensitivity, their deflection, their over emotionalism, the fact that they love women of no color, because I'm telling you, there's a pathology, there's a type, there's an archetype of a black man that would be with a white woman. And it's not anything masculine, it's not anything manly, it's not anything upstanding. I always look at them as an indicator of being degenerate to me. And this is why I won't anymore deal with any black man who has been with a white woman. I've dealt with too many of them, and I'm telling you, there's something wrong with their mindset. It just is. There's something wrong with them.
And you know the crazy thing too. Let me pull up a picture of them as we talk about them. The crazy thing too. The tall one, Myron, that's his name. They're Cynthia. They're fucking crashing out. Like,
But Myron was the dude who was laid up in a picture in a bed with a bunch of men.
with the white boy, yes, he was. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's why I say I think the black men who like white women, they actually like white men. I think that they're with white women for proximity to white men. That's what I think they're doing. These men, I just don't think they're straight. I don't.
You know,
I think we've heard about Eddie Murphy, so we already know with him he tethering on LGBTQ too.
remember he was just trying to give the T girl a ride. Remember, she just needed a ride. She just needed a ride.
Yeah, well, he basically saying he does not know how to tell the difference between a man and a woman, and so to me, if that's the case, then I have to question how many men you actually been with if you can't even tell the difference from a man and a woman. Even if a man puts on a wig and makeup and a dress, you should still be able to tell he's a man.
Good point. Good point. This is Childish Gambino. I can't think of his real Donald Glover. There we go. I remember he came to my school and he did a comedy show back in like 2011, 2012, 2011. Anyway, and he did a joke about him, about a white girl sucking him off, and him fucking a white girl, and she said, "Give me that nigger cock," and he said he busted harder than he ever had.
Ain't he the one who came out and said he feels most comfortable around the LGBTQ community?
Damn, maybe he did.
Because I feel like he did. I feel like I did content on him saying that he felt more comfortable in the LGBTQ community. And he didn't I think he said for a long, and anybody in the chat box can correct me. It might be somebody else, but I think it was him, where he basically said he spent most of his life being confused about his sexuality because he was supposed to be straight but felt more comfortable around the LGBTQ community. I don't think that he's straight, though.
So I found an article from September of 2020. Donald Glover reveals he struggled with his sexuality. I've never felt completely safe.
Yeah, I think that's the article that he said it in.
Okay, he said his friends would ask him, "Are you gay?" And he would say, "I sort of feel like I am because I love this community. He also
Yeah.
said he never felt completely safe only in one place, so around gay people. You're right.
Yeah, and I think it's because that is the community he belongs in. And I think it's known that a lot of women of no color, they don't really care. And to me, Asian is not a race, so nobody needs to get into the comments and say, "Oh, she's not a woman of no color; she's an Asian." Anyway, even if she was an Asian, she'd be a white Asian, so it would still apply to her. They are known for not having an issue with men who have been in relationships or who want to be in relationships with other men. They are known for being very much for that. So ultimately, I think these women end up being a beard for them until they end up feeling like they comfortable enough to come out.
I don't think you're all the way off, to be honest with you. You definitely got a point. I want to get your opinion on this too. You remember when Khalid got outed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was crazy to me, I've talked about this on the show, and you can give me your opinion too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not only in heterosexual relationships, but even in gay relationships, Black men really pedestalize light-skinned men, mixed men, these like exoticals.
Mm-hmm.
And I told y'all, I have gay friends, so I'm telling y'all, I know this. These niggas fight over dudes like this. Like dudes that look like this on the left ain't gotta have a job, no credit, no nothing. Like they would take care of them, like co-signing Hellcats. Like shit is wild.
Well, who would think that a Black man is gonna not be a colorist just because he's gay? Like, why would we think that? We think that because he's gay, he can't be a colorist?
Right. Marsha said light-skinned men are seen as more feminine because of colorism. I mean, shit, I have to deal with that even having Black male friends. So I've talked about that on the show too. Because I remember even when I was in Atlanta, I kept saying like, why is every other conversation about, I don't know why my light's doing that. Every conversation about my skin tone, I'm like, I'm not that light, I feel like, but whatever.
Yeah, they definitely are very, very, very colorist. And from what I hear, a lot of them actually prefer to not a lot of them prefer to really not be with Black men. A lot of them actually prefer white men.
Yeah, they do. They do. From what I've been told, okay, let me put it to y'all this way in the chat, because Cynthia already know. From what I've been told, the Black men are just too hard to deal with. It'd be like, damn, you ain't got no job, you ain't got nowhere to stay. Then there's always like this fight of like masculinity, and then you got you know, you take in this nigga and he trying to beat your ass, but he needs you, but he the top, but he ain't got shit, and you the bottom, but you work. It's a lot. So yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, I ain't got time for it.
You say you don't give a fuck. I'm done with that.
No, I right now I'm kind of just like with the tone of I'm right along with the energy of women globally. That's kind of what time I'm on.
Mm.
I'm just like over it completely. Like I'm tired of hearing them talk. I'm tired of hearing them talk about what they want. I'm tired of their arrogant attitudes. I'm tired of them thinking that they control any and everything. Women don't understand that for way too long we've given them absolute power. And absolute power, just even thinking that you have absolute power is going to be corrupting. So if you actually go without being checked, and people are showing you that you have absolute power, it's only going to be corrupting. And I think Nick Fuentes and his mentality showed the extent to which they feel like they have ultimate power and cannot be checked. And I think that as women, we're not taking as much accountability for that as we should be. And that's concerning to me, because you can't change what you don't acknowledge. And if you don't change how you've acted to get a certain result, you'll continue to get that result. It just is what it is.
It just is what it is. Damn. Damn it.
It really is. And my big concern is that women don't really see where we went wrong. We don't see where we went wrong. And I know because women keep asking, well, why do the men act like this? Well, why don't they like us? Well, why do they talk so badly about us? Because you've let them have a reign of unchecked ultimate power. You've let them say that you were inferior. You gave them your ability to create life. You've literally deified them. You deified them. And that's why they are acting the way they're acting. It's because you deified them. You said they're the prize when you started competing for them, because surely you don't, a prize only comes after a competition that you've won. So you started competing for them to elevate them as the prize. You said they're God. You said you are the seed of the man. You said the man should be the leader. You said we should submit to the man. We've tolerated their oppression. And it is what it is. Now we are here where we're at, and too many women are acting confused, and it bothers me.
How does it feel to just take it off that? I do want to ask you this. First off, welcome back. I know you really didn't go nowhere, but I know you was on Patreon doing your thing. Still is. You want to shout out your Patreon real quick?
Yeah, it's just patreon.com and then the / Cynthia G. You could probably go into Patreon and type in Cynthia G and it will come up very easily. Thank you for that, Storm. I appreciate that. But I think women have dropped the ball in many ways. And it's unfortunate that most women cannot even identify how they play a role in men's mentality, in patriarchy, and the disrespect and devaluing of themselves as women. I think a lot of women do not understand that certain behaviors have consequences and certain belief systems even have consequences. This is what I think women are having a hard time understanding. No matter how noble or right, true, and correct you may think your actions are, whatever they may be, whatever the belief system is, you may think is completely innocent, there's still a consequence to having it. There's still a reaction to you having it. Something is going to happen because you picked up a certain belief system. There are consequences, and women are not connecting the dots between what we have done, what we have allowed, the way in which we have reacted to men and their oppression, and the outcome that we are getting right now. There's too many women who can't connect those dots, and it bothers me.
Well, that's what we got you here for, to teach them.
Yeah.
When your book coming, Cynthia G? When the book coming?
Well, I will ruin the surprise if I tell you. I have a date for it, though. I have a release.
Okay.
And it's not super far off either.
Okay, cool.
There is a release date. It's not super far off, but I'm not going to say the date because I want to do it in a certain way. I'm trying to reveal it in a certain way.
Gotcha. I'm excited for that.
I mean, because this is the essential doxing of myself. So I'm not going to just throw y'all out the doxing of myself. This is going to be unveiled in a specific way. I'm not just going to throw out a book where there's my business in it and then say, here, y'all can just go get it. I'm going to say that, but it's going to be done in a certain way. So, but it won't be too far off. I promise you. It's not that it won't be years. That's for sure.
Gotcha. I can't wait because I want to learn more about your story and your life. And, people don't understand, like, writing a book about yourself, like you really expose yourself. People really don't understand that. It's not the easiest thing to do. So,
yeah, it's not, because you have to, first of all, because I'm going over a lot of stuff with my childhood was very traumatic. So there are certain things where there's some things that just have blanks in between them that I'm having to get help to fill in the blanks on certain events. Certain events are hard still to digest. They are hard to talk about and or write. So you do have to be able and willing to sift through your trauma, even trauma that you forgot that might just come up since you're digging into it. You just it requires a lot. It's a very emotionally draining process, and it does require a lot because there's certain revelations I've come to just by starting the book. There are certain revelations I've come to. Writing certain parts and certain experiences is opening my eyes to things that were not open to me before.
Okay.
And so it's just it's a very emotional process to go through. It is, especially knowing that you're making it public. That's one of the biggest things, is that
Yes.
people who like you and those who don't like you are going to be reading it, and they're going to likely try to use it to criticize you or judge you. So you have to be ready for that when you're choosing to say, here, I'm going to put my story out there so that it will help other people who may have dealt with the same things. Because really and truly, even though people come on here and they try to tell my story, these are not people who are privy to anything that I've actually been through beyond what they've seen on YouTube. They are not privy to it. So they can't write my story. They can't even really rely on the people who came out and given them certain information, because the question is, what was your position in that person's life, and how long did it last, and how much were you privy to before you exited out of that person's life?
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Hold on real quick. The link was only for Cynthia G. First off. Second off, in the chat, please be respectful. Cynthia G is up here right now. I didn't tell y'all Jaguar Wright was coming up here today. When Jag is up here, then Jag is up here. Right now, Cynthia is up here. Please stop being rude. Damn.
It's funny how they always want to be rude when I'm on somebody else's platform, but they never want to come to mine. Like, I was just live. So anybody who had anything to say, they could have just pulled up. I was live.
Now, they ain't going to do that. They want to do that bullshit over here. Don't do that.
Yeah, which is really weird and is giving cowardly. It's like, you just bring it to my door if you got a problem. Because any content creator out here, if I had a problem with them, I'm going to show up at they channel. I sure am. I'm actually trying to grow from the petty part of me, because if I don't like somebody in this space, I might terrorize them. I might make them feel the wrath of me not liking them. I might choose that okay, now I want this person to feel the wrath of me not liking them. And I want them to feel it every time I see them. Meaning, if I see you on YouTube, if I see you on Instagram, I can see you on TikTok or Twitter, I'm going to pull up on you and let you know that I got a problem with you. And I'm going to let you know why. So I have zero respect for somebody who wants to sit up and have a problem, but want to go to somebody else's channel. Like, come to mine.
Ooh-wee. They don't never want to do that, though. They don't never want to do that.
Yeah, if you really got to get something off your chest, then come on over.
You know what's crazy? I've even been watching people, and I'll see people in the chat. Fuck Storm, he ain't shit. Wait, I'm like, what I do? God, like, damn.
Listen, people aren't gonna like you. Like, everybody just not gonna like you. And I think one thing that we learned being in this YouTube space is that you really have to tune out irrelevant noise. Mm-hmm. Meaning, if you a nothing ass bitch and you just trying to peep up in the comment section to be seen and get attention by somebody who thinks you're irrelevant and a nothing ass bitch, then that's just what you're gonna do. But just know that I'm just gonna put you on mute at the end of the day, and I'm not gonna listen to your type of noise.
Point blank. Thank you for coming on, Cynthia. Any last words?
No, I'm just about to finish editing this video. I'll still be listening, though. Okay,
for sure. You know, I appreciate you. We'll stay in touch.
Definitely.
Take it easy now.
And you too, and Storm, you already know. You will probably be one of the people who know when the book is about to drop before anybody else do. So we'll have a conversation about it later.
For sure.
Yeah, I'll keep in touch, and I'll be watching as always.
Okay, take it easy now.
All right, bye.
Bye.
The Storm Show. Ay, It's a storm show.